Rise and shine, they say. Thank you very much for beginning your day with us right here on the Morning Drift. But most certainly at Look Up TV. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiaga. There's a lot happening in the country, but what you can't run away from is that the country is officially in a tight campaign mood, and you can't run away from it. Every weekend, every Saturday, every day, politicians are out fully campaigning as we draw closer and closer to the 2027 poll. Can't believe it's been 5 years since 2022. I mean, that's how fast time runs. The opposition yesterday was in Kisii, and I'll be telling you exactly what happened right there. And also across the country, I mean, we've seen a lot of rains come down in major parts of the country, but most importantly, every time we have rains, we test our city infrastructure. At a time when the Nairobi County assigned a collaboration deal with the central government, and especially on areas around cleaning, lighting and drainage, and a bit of infrastructure on the roads. We'll be looking at exactly what Kenyans have been going through, especially those who are in Nairobi, as they contend with the devastating effects of rainfall across the city. So I do hope that whatever it is that you are this morning, you are fine, everything is okay, you're waking up ready to hustle the day and make the buck. That's exactly what we're here today in the morning to do. Keep your day into a proper perspective, give you insight on exactly what is happening across the country. But at this time, we are talking about youth in politics in 2027. The question we're asking is, which way will the youth vote in a 2027? What we do know is that if you go back to the IEBC register, we have 8 million youth in this country. If we add 2 million new youth to the register, that means that we shall be thereabout at 10 million. That means that we should be currently among the biggest voting bloc in the country. No wonder the politicians are trying everything possible to woo the youth to their side in a 2027. Question being, which way would they go? That's a conversation that we're going to have this morning. And you can be a part and parcel of it. Talk to us and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiaga. Our WhatsApp lines are right there on your screen. Talk to us. Guess what? We shall talk back to you as well. For now, let's cross over online and see what it is that you're waking up to this morning in your dailies. And as usual, we're going to jump into the Daily Nation this morning. Question is, what is killing Kenyans? That's what the Daily Nation is talking about here this morning. Let's look at it. Non-communicable diseases are 40%. And we're talking about disease, diabetes, cancer, and mental health conditions now account for 40% of all deaths in Kenya. That's huge. Yeah. So infectious diseases, if you look at it, from 1990 to 2023, from 1990 they accounted for about 75%, crossover to 2000, 65%, crossover to 10 years later, 55%. We've been dropping all the way up to where we are right now at about 40%. And these numbers are all the way back to 2033, infectious diseases and non-communicable diseases as well, going hand in hand, all right? And you can see non-communicable diseases have been rising. 1990, 15%, 2000, 22%, 2010, 30%, 2020, 37%, 2023, 40%. So things like diabetes and cancer have been rising all the way from 1990 up to where many Kenyans as infectious diseases. In 1990, one hospital bed was serving 7,500 people. In 2023, one hospital bed is serving 10,000 plus people. So we're getting worse. We're getting worse, Buana. Yeah? With an increasing population in this country. How is it that now one bed in this country is serving 10,000 plus people, when the WHO standard should be around 500, if I'm not wrong? across this country. So we still are in a healthcare crisis, all right? Now, infectious diseases, according to this report, like malaria, TB, and HIV also continue to take a toll on families across the country. When was the last time you were tested? Yeah. Have you ever gone for free cancer screening? Have you ever gone for a free HIV test? In fact, in a hospital, do you know that a HIV test costs nothing if you are on the SHA platform? If you go into a private healthcare facility, do you know that it costs maybe 150 shillings? You need to get tested, know your status as well. Now, in 2025 Population Situation Analysis Report, it shows that a comprehensive assessment of the nation's health and demographic landscape points to a troubling picture, according to this report, with Kenyans are living longer, with life expectancy climbing to nearly 67 years, but the journey to old age is increasingly plagued by preventable diseases. According to this report, now chronic illness now account for 40% of all deaths in the country, and the health system is stretched with scarce resources. That's exactly what this report is talking about here. So we are not doing okay. We're not doing okay. Good. That story is in the pullout this morning of the Healthy Nation magazine. Now, let's talk about other stories that you're waking up to this morning. Famine, it's still hitting parts of the country. What we do know is that 16 counties, despite the recent rains, are still under threat of famine. Now, appeal for surplus maize not thrift to feed starving Kenyans. Now, Kenya Red Cross Society has asked farmers in Uasin Gishu and Trans Nzoia counties to donate surplus maize to famine-stricken Kenyans. Now, the aid agency has offered to transport and distribute the relief aid. That story has been covered on page 19 of the Daily Nation. On page 6, Wamatangi appears before Senate despite governor's defiance. Now, there's a story here on how Kiambu Governor Wamatangi is the third county boss to break ranks with the Council of Governors of Appearance before Senate Watchdog Committee. He appeared yesterday, and like they say, it was drama that majority of Kenyans have been accustomed to every time these governors visit that Senate Public Accounts Committee. Now, on page 4, opposition steps up pressure on Kenya Kwanza in Gusii. Now, what we do know is that united opposition leaders swept through Bomet, Kisii, and Nyamira counties yesterday. The message to President Ruto was to read the warning signs that his time in the presidency was up. That's what they said. Party chiefs Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa, and Fred Matiang'i, and asked Rift Valley and Nyanza residents to back their course. Our story has been covered on page 4 of the Daily Nation. I think that's it on the Daily Nation this morning. Now let's cross over to the Standard. Like I keep on saying, majority of this story is also covered on our social media platforms, the Lookup TV, across all of them. A story here on the Standard that is talking about shameless CSs. All right, and what is shameless? The word is shameless, not sembless. Yeah. It's a good morning, isn't it? All right. And this is what they're saying. Mining CS Hassan Joho and the Energy counterpart Opiyo Wandayi in action at ODM rallies over the weekend have easily been mistaken for ODM youth wingers. Now, that was 2 days after Treasury's John Mbadi hosted Luo elders at the ministry's boardroom and discussed ODM affairs. The Antelon, some of this administrator's CSs constantly flout sections of the Leadership and Integrity Act on political neutrality, exploiting a thin line between publicizing government policies and hot politics, and end up turning the spirit of the law into a joke. That story has been covered on page 6 and 7 of the Standard this morning. In fact, you know, when you attend political rallies across the country, and we've seen it, Hassan Joho going for ODM meetings. We've seen the likes of John Mbadi. He's been lately more of a politician than a CS. Opiyo Wandayi as well, Geoffrey Ruku, public service CS, the ones who've been across the country. I mean, they're flighting what the Kenyan Constitution wants CS to be. You gotta be neutral, and we're not seeing that for majority of them across the country. I mean, it's something that we need to talk about as Kenyans. Put them to task to explain why they do what they do across the country. That's what the Standard is talking about this morning. And this story here about how the United Opposition has stormed Gusii Land is also what has been covered on the Daily Nation. You're going to read that story all the way on pages 6 and 7 of the Daily Nation. Sorry, of the Standard this morning. On that note, let's cross over then to the issues that are trending this morning. And I do apologize. This is not a sports show, so we're not going to talk about Manchester United winning yesterday. Let's focus on bigger issues this morning. Watu wanacheza once after every 16 days. The next time they're going to play, I don't know, it's on April 13th. It's a non-issue. We can't talk about them this morning. I'm sorry. You can go online and look at the results. Why are we going to waste time talking about Man United? Anyway, here we go. This morning, let's look at some of the issues then that are trending this morning. What we do know is that the United Opposition was in Kisii yesterday. And let's just see exactly how they were received in that town yesterday when they arrived in the town. What we do know is that they headed all the way straight to Gusii Stadium. That is the home ground of Shabana, if you do know. Yeah, and what we do know is that the ground was actually closed for construction. But vijana wakamua, Matiang'i na Rigathi Gachagua na Natembeya wote wataenda huku kwa stadium. I don't know where the red carpet came from. Apparently there are alleged news that watu walienda kwa ofisi ya Simbarati, iko tu hapo karibu na stadium. Wakachukua red carpet wakasema tunapeleka waheshimiwa Bwana Fred Matiang'i. I do not know. It's alleged. Alleged. You can go online and watch those videos, and then you come and tell me exactly where that red carpet came from. All right, let's watch and see exactly how they entered the Gusii Stadium. At the Gusii Stadium with one message, one term. Turning to one term. Is it one term for TAM or one term for TERM? Utatuambia bwana. Sisi tunajua ni ile ya TERM. All right, couple of Kenya Halisi this morning saying Simbarati was a very formidable politician, but wamekubali the association with Kasongo to bring down all that he built. All because of greed. The lack of foresight in ODM is ridiculous. That is what Kenya Halisi is saying this morning. All right. This is Samora who's saying this is a Monday, and you, who is an aspiring leader, sees this as something good. Kenya is in serious trouble. Watu waenda wafanye kazi. Wachane na Radlis. All right. That's what Samora is saying this morning. Moses Miles who's saying I hope Matiang'i will get 100% of the votes from his region. Anakaa kupata bwana. Uliona vile pati yake ili sweep zile primaries, sorry, the by-elections. Alifagia vitu sana bwana. He's a formidable leader in Kisii. Yeah, he's quite formidable. Kama Kisii this time, tuko na mtu wa kuwekea kura. I'm just saying, we go look at the stats, all right? But let's talk about the night this morning. Who's saying that we, the citizens of Kenya, are the problem. Hawa politicians hutuona maumbwa sana. I swear, nikipata my family member hapa, takosana mbaya sana. Huwezi fanya kitu bwana, mtakosana aje? They are over 18, wanaweza enda korali bwana. Ukikosana na yeye, atakupeleka kotini na utashikwa. Bora tu usienda kuwapiga. All right, this is the night. George Bosire was saying, and you can imagine they arrived late when a larger group, especially those from the villages, had gone back home. Kwani ulikuwa kwa ground, Bosire? Uliona wakera nyumbani? Yeah, because they were following each other from Bomet all the way to Nyamira, and then went to Kisii town. All right. This is Japheth who's saying, fortunately, they'll all vote for President Ruto and Governor Arati in 2027 because of development and track record. I mean, it's their choice, isn't it? Let's then also look at another trending issue this morning. Now, there's one person who surprised majority of Kenyans yesterday, Millicent Omanga. The last time we saw her, she was adorned in yellow, UDA colors. But then yesterday, she was in this rally. Yeah, we do not know when it became one term from Millicent Omanga. Probably we should host her in the studio one of these fine days. She can tell us exactly when she decided to become one term. Because if you do remember her very well, the last time you spotted her, she was in yellow colors. Yeah, she was. I'm fine in Yuku. And she was saying yesterday, thank you, Kisii, the one-term revolution will be televised. Ama ameamua kwa mall vile watu wanazemanga anasema vile mambo ilifanyika Kisii. There she is in that convoy. You can see her. All right? Just right behind Dr. Fred Matiang'i. You can see. Wako kwa ile Kiswahili tunasema sako kwa bako. I don't remember the last time I used that word. Yeah? But here we go. These are the comments. Dennis was saying, we are watching this united opposition closely if they continue allowing people who have been working with, yeah, I knew these are the comments this morning, with Kasongo like you to join their team. We have no option but boycott the election. We can't keep recycling the same garbage in the name of political outfit. We are watching this transfer window. Kwani transfer window inaendelea kwa politics? Sikuwa nadhani tunangoja tumalize this year, ndio 2027 tuanze hiyo transfer window. But then when are we closing it? Yeah, it is. Coaches who saying, if Kenyans are clever, any leader pretending to be clever now after stealing funds from Wananchi by inflating tenders, he or she should not be given platforms to address anyone. People should consider asking free nominations to be scrapped. All right? Haya, Big Sheriff, mwenye anasema at Wakaka, who's saying, woi, the mole, the hypocrite, the pretender, the liar, the backstabber, the opportunist, the deceiver, the parasite. I didn't say that. Inakaa Wakaka ni kama mwanako na machungu sana. Kwani Millicent alikufanyia nini? All right. Then there's Amor, that is at Lebro, who's saying you cannot certainly become this clever and hate Ruto, whom you supported in 2022. You are a mole, time will tell. Finally then, this morning, Njoroge was saying, Mama Miradi, today was the first time to see you. Hata mimi bwana. Last time nilimwona ni akituonyesha amenunua Bentley. Ile Bentley mpya, Bentley Bentayga 2022. Yeah. The future is luminous. It's one term. Wewe uko na ground walai. I was waiting for you to tweet. I comment. Sema ni paste. Nipate ya kwenda mjengo. Wewe huwezi omba pesa hapa. Itisema ni paste. Huyo ni at Njoroge who's saying that. Good. Let's cross over to other issues this morning then. There's an interesting clip here, and I want us to listen to it and see exactly how Kenyans are reacting to it. The president, yesterday, when he was moving around looking at his projects, he met some guys who are working on some of the infrastructure projects that are going on across the country. Nataka tusikize vizuri vile hii mambo iliana, and then you and I will come back and talk about it.
Mahali ya soko iko wheelbarrow. Mahali ya affordable housing iko wheelbarrow. Mahali ya hostel iko wheelbarrow. Mahali ya barabara iko wheelbarrow. Sasa wanauliza nini wheelbarrow? Si wheelbarrow ndio farasi ya kazi? Ama mahali ya soko iko wheelbarrow. Mahali ya affordable housing iko wheelbarrow. Mahali ya hostel iko wheelbarrow. Mahali ya barabara iko wheelbarrow. Sasa wanauliza nini wheelbarrow? Si wheelbarrow ndio farasi ya kazi?
Vin nimetafuta wheelbarrow hapa kwa kampani yetu sijaona. Why can we ask our director kama tuko na wheelbarrow? And then I woke up in the morning in my house, I didn't see a wheelbarrow. You know? I don't know, man. Wewe umeona wheelbarrow hapa waliko? Wewe unaweza tuambia. Sokoni. Unajua ile soko iko na wheelbarrow sokoni. Hiyo soko ni kama iko soko duni kidogo. Kama soko yenyewe bado iko na wheelbarrow bwana. Fahamu muulize, mbona hatuna tractor badala ya wheelbarrow wa kufanya hizi kazi? Hata hapa boys wako hapo, sidhani kama unatumia wheelbarrow kuchukua hiyo mchanga. Hapo wakuanga na zile matrakta za kubeba mchanga bwana. Kama uko na wheelbarrow hapo karibu na yako na wewe, unaweza tuambia tu. Yeah? All right. This is Walker who's saying, with all due respect, Mr. President, let the peers do this kind of videos. You're embarrassing us. What is the definition of Ombwakini? All right, this is one term we're studying this morning. Ombwakini, Daima Association. Pelekeni ujinga mbali. This is someone who's responding to the president this morning. This is a King Deaf rapper, Dagi, who's saying this morning, very good boss. Would you appoint someone who's deaf to the government? It's a good question. All right. Mkenya, who's saying, kindly don't pull this card. All right. Bonnie, who's saying, all we need is jobs. Marcy, who's saying, very stupid economics. Why not revive industries for basic things? Consumption like cooking oil, textiles, and all household goods, and see the ripple effects it will have in the economy. It is sustainable because of the ready market, and it will employ more than 3 million people directly. Yeah? I'm not going to read the rest of the comments because they're borderline abusing the president. I'm not going to read them. All right, let's look at another trending issue this morning. Now, this is a sad issue that I want us to look at. There's a parents in one school across the country who took that's the Moi Comprehensive School in Nakuru. There's a grade 9 student who passed in the school, and the school took the kid to the morgue in Nakuru. So the parents were not satisfied with the story of the passing of the kid. So what they did is that they went back to the school, took the kid from the morgue back to the school so that the school could explain the untimely passing of the grade 9 student. Let's take a look at this video and then come and talk about it. Sad story right there in that is the Moi Comprehensive, isn't it? Yes, Moi Comprehensive School in Nakuru over the death of a grade 9 student. Just two comments that I'm going to read this morning from this story. There's a story, there's Shishi. Okay. What is Shishi, not Sishi? Again this morning. All right, here we go. If they can employ nurses in clinical officers and clinical officers in schools, wafunge hizi mashule. Wakiona mtoto ni mgonjwa sana, they should also have ambulances for it. How many are we going to lose jameni? Kenya ina mchezo mingi sana, all right? For a mom to lose a kid in unclear circumstances, it's not good. All right, this is Becca, who's saying during my time in boarding school, ukiwa mgonjwa ulikuwa unaenda kwa matron, had no known medical background, she'd look at you and decide the next course of action, which was mostly painkillers. I understand that some schools have nurses, but they don't inform the parents and let them decide of the kind of care that children should get, because clearly something is wrong with how they're handling this issue. Often the note, when I release mtoto kwenda hosi when it's already too late. Finally, Kenya did suspend the Edu Afya program that was comprehensive, replacing it with whatever SHA is, probably impending fast response in case of illness. So sad this morning for us to talk about that. It's the second case that I've seen actually this year, yes, of kids passing in school. Finally this morning, the rains have hit the country, especially in Nairobi. Some estates actually this morning woke up with rains. If it did not rain this morning in your state, then you're not in Nairobi. That's what we normally say. Kama kukunyesha kwenye, usisema unatoka Nairobi. Sema hiyo jina ya mahali unatoka. That's it. All right, but majority of Kenyans have been met with bad infrastructure. Now, there are a couple of sinkholes that have opened across the country. Now, there's a Kenyan who decided, instead of warning Nairobi residents not to use a certain footpath in the country, that they were going to record and paint for us a picture of how bad our city infrastructure is. Let's take a look at this video and then come back and talk about it. Ah, shit. Oh, man.
Hatuwezi kuwa bila power. Ni lazima tupate power.
There's nothing funny about that video. Absolutely nothing funny about that video. And if Nairobi County government is watching this video, then you've been put on notice. All those guys can decide to take you to court. And they'll get good money. They got good money. All right, finally, let me just read a couple of comments here then. This is from Mike Muchilo, who's saying the government is responsible for maintaining infrastructure, but as citizens, we also need to do our part in protecting them. Who's told the manholes cover? It's the ordinary Kenyan, and he was seen stealing it, but no one stopped them. We live in a society that we deserve. All right? This is Dimao, who's saying, on my right shin, I have a scar from where I fell into a 9-foot deep covered palangara. I literally had to jump, grab the top, and pull myself out. Luckily, I didn't break a leg, and it didn't have water and get drowned for sure. When I surfaced, all bystanders were laughing and mocking me. Kenyans were talking about how, this is Michelle also saying that in 2025 May, she fell into an open drain in West T, Kukinyasha. Luckily, it was not full of water. All right. Becca was saying 2021, I also almost died. I mean, there's just so much. All right. Kenyans saying how they have almost lost their lives because of things like this. We do apologize. And if Nairobi County is watching, then indeed, that is you getting put on notice by Nairobi residents for you to up your game when it comes to the drainage and service delivery across the county. So hopefully the national government is watching as well, because they say this will be part of that 80 billion shillings collaboration with the Nairobi County government. That's that. So this morning, let's talk about the decisions that the youth are going to make in 2027. I do have all the guests that are supposed to be joining us this morning in the studio. So let's get into that conversation and get perspective this morning on the direction that majority of the youth are going to take or expected to take once they make a decision for 2027. Good morning. I'll see you on the other side of our little tiny breather.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. Men look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody is buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands. Depend on your hands more."
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
All right. Welcome back to the Morning Drift. Let's get into our conversation for this morning then, after looking at exactly what's going on across the country. What you can't run away from is the fact that the country is now in its 2027 political campaign mood. Politicians are walking across the country trying to woo Kenyans behind their support as they try and make ways to power in a 2027. Amid this conversation is a voting bloc that is expected to increase again this year from the 8 million that is registered in the IEBC calendar from 2022. We are talking about the youthful voting bloc in the country. Each year we go into registrations. Kenyans from the age of 18 to 35 are normally expected to be among those who register in big numbers, with the IEBC going to places where they can get this demographic to register to vote in the general elections, with the target being about 6 million that are supposed to be added to the voter register. It means that the higher percentage of the new voters in the country are going to be the youth. So the question then is going to be, which direction are the youth going to take in 2027? And what are some of the issues that are pushing the youth from the heavy voter apathy that has been witnessed in our elections in the country? That's exactly what we're talking about this morning. And let me then introduce the gentlemen who are joining us in the studio this morning for this conversation. We do have Moses Nyanduga, who is a student leader and a public affairs commentator. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Happy to have you around.
Yes, thank you so
Also
much.
this morning, we do have another young man in the studio with us this morning. His name is Felix Wanjika, who's a member of parliament aspirant, Dagoretti South constituency. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Happy to have you around. Gentlemen, let me begin like this. And I would like to start with you, Felix. If you have asked any other person in 2024 at the height of the youth protests in the country, when we were protesting leadership, when we were protesting the finance bill, the direction of the youth was clearly known. That if you would have covered an election in 2024 during the height of those protests, then somebody would have told you exactly how the youth were going to vote in this country. That all of them were saying, this leadership, we do not want it. They didn't recognize leadership. They didn't recognize the government. They were saying, we are voting out bad leadership. If you ask them today again, is that the same answer they're going to give you?
No. There's a lot of changes have happened from 2024
yes.
to 2026. There's a big factors affecting that youth thing, that Gen Z unity. We call it tribal factor.
That's it.
Yeah. It reached a time where every youth tunasema kila mtoto aenda cheze kwa mlango ya babake. So the tribal affect us. By that time, we are against the tribal factor. That's the reason we came up together, because we are one voice, one mind, one blood. So we could fight everything. Then another thing affect us is about system thing. The system things, youths lose a trust on a system.
Yes.
The system is a big thing. People just don't get it clear. Is a government machinery used to rehabilitate youths. This is a police state. This is by manipulating Kenyans of numbers. This system, it removed the trust from youth to the government. So youth believe that even we have votes, we come together, it's useless. So there's a fear also in youth. So these two factors is what bring the difference from 2024 to 2026.
Yes.
The tribal factor and this system factor.
That's it.
Yeah. So youths now where they are, they believe that even they are majority, but nothing they can do. So is the reason I will just advise the youth across the nation. The tricks we use in 2024, it's what will work in 2027. Yeah, we should not be afraid to say so. Yeah, we must come out together and abandon those fears, and we speak one voice.
Yes.
That's only the solution for the nation.
Pretty much. I'll be coming back to you because I know you're running for Member of Parliament in 2027. And you do know, I mean, you can't avoid it. The biggest voting bloc that's going to be in Dagoretti, if you're going to get this support, then you have to galvanize the youth to come behind your support. I'll be looking at some of the ways that you're speaking to them currently as it is, so that we see whether indeed, whether they will register first before they come and support you finally on that ballot. Moses, I would like to ask you the same question as well. I mean, everybody knew where the minds of the Kenyan people were in 2024, and we thought that that movement would continue all the way up to where we are right now. That majority of Kenyan youth would have come out in big numbers this year, moving into 2027, register, pick a vote, and then go to the ballot to speak their voices on the ballot. I don't know. It's not the same case. Do you think that the youth are where they were in 2024?
Thank you. You see, we do say that facts are sacred, opinion free. And facts must be spoken rightly, the way they're supposed to be spoken. I took part in Gen Z demonstrations of 2024. In almost all, in fact. When we were protesting, we demanded several things. Among them, we wanted to see a change in the Ministry of Education. We were telling Mr. President, this corruption is now enough. We were telling Mr. President, we need our health system to be streamlined. We demanded several things. But because you have just answered, you have just asked a very direct question, I'll tell you where we were in 2024 was a little bit better as compared to where we are currently. The young people of this country made a decision in 2024 that they wanted to see a better Kenya. Today, when you walk around and ask them, there is a section, I'll say 40% have relentlessly lost hope in the vision that we had, in the generation that was coming to take over. When you walk around and see the activities of the young people, like you said before, the IEBC expected to register more than 6 million voters.
That's it.
And this bloc comprised young people of this country. We said with the percentage proportion we have in this country, we can endorse a candidate and ensure that our candidate wins the presidency so that we can have a better nation, the one we decide as a nation. But we have two factors which has heavily affected the revolution.
Yes.
And one of them is ethnic balkanization, whereby we live in a country when the chips are down, our blood of ethnicity is bigger than the blood of our national integration. Today, if you ask an average Kikuyu, they'll tell you their kingpin is Rigathi Gachagua. If you ask an average Luya, it's either they'll talk about Sifuna, Natembeya, Eugene Wamalwa, or Musalia Mudavadi.
That's it.
But in 2024, we were speaking the same language. It was unity as a result of adversity. We united due to the problems we are facing together. But today in 2026, there have been several political activities happening in the country. The realignment toward 2027 under ethnic balkanization is a factor, whereby you see the opposition politicians, the only thing they're spreading is all about tribalism. And in fact, on the government side, they're spreading it even more. When we took it to the streets, we never said anything like the Azimio coalition to send some of the experts to the government. Today, when you go to Nyanza and ask majority of them, they'll tell you, for us, we are in the government. For them, they think that when they have 2 or 3 cabinet secretaries joining the government, that now means a whole community is inside that government. And the majority of the young people in Nyanza, in fact, they're following that scheme. When you go to Western, you'll see a section of them, because Speaker Moses Wetangula is from that region, they believe they're in the government. Same to Musalia Mudavadi. Then there is another section which believes they need a change within the Western sphere. And now this section is following Sifuna and Natembeya. Apart from ethnic balkanization, the second thing that happened that made young people to change their mind is the system my brother was talking about.
That's it.
Under this system, the first thing they did is to silence some of the unique voices we had in the 2024 Gen Z protest. One of the figures they silenced through a system is Kasmuel, And we must talk about it.
Yes.
When Casmuel joined...
Did they silence Casmuel, or
yes.
Casmuel silenced himself?
No, I believe the government silenced Casmuel, because when they bring you see, when they want to silence you, they'll bring you closer to them. So even now, even you, Simba, you've been performing civic education in the society. But if the government want to silence you, they'll appoint you as the State House Communications Director. So you see, when they bring you closer, it's like you are joining now the system. You move from those who are demanding change now to the system itself. So apart from that, we have a system whereby the government uses totalitarian rule, whereby if they see you as a unique voice demanding for change, then either through the police officer, we have seen abductions, we have seen some of the threats and several things happening in the society. So I'll say the young people, majority of them, it would appear to me, they've crossed the Rubicon and burned their boots.
Pretty much.
Yes.
All right, I'll be coming to you now on the basics of where we are. Even as we say that the government is working against the young people, the numbers on the ground really are not supporting what should be happening online and in terms of pushing for positions for the young people in leadership. We'll be getting back to it and then see exactly how it is. Now, Felix, I'll come to you. You're running for Member of Parliament from Dagoretti South. Here we are sitting saying that the government is silencing us, and the government is silencing the key political spokespersons among the youthful in the community. How are you speaking to the young people in Dagoretti South? How are you convincing them that is the time for us to go out and take these leadership positions, knowing very well, number one, these people do not register to vote. There's the same people told you, we don't want a leader, we are leaderless, we are tribeless, and all that we want to do is push our voices through demonstrations, online activism. But they don't turn this into a tangible movement that you as a youth leader wants to be a member of parliament, can carry on and take to the ballot. How are you speaking to them?
Yeah, you know, it's not easy because they always fear. So that's the reason they want to capitulate from the battle.
Yes.
But there's a fundamental rule I used to tell my youths across. There's another way we can use to fight them. If you cannot face them physically, this is another way you can use to fight them. That's the reason I'm telling the youth right now. If we become the majority in the parliament, let me say we take like 70% in the parliament, and we register as a voters, and we play silent game. So when it reaches 2027, we can change the nation. By the chamber where the chef is, where everything is being spoiled, is in the parliament. Nothing is passing to the parliament which is favoring the youth's agenda. So that's the reason I'm trying to call youth to come in large numbers. We register as voters, and we go and contest for various seats.
Yes.
So when we are in the majority in the parliament, we'll be the chef. So the food we'll cook in the parliament will be very healthy for the most youth outside. The bill will pass in the parliament. They will support the youth, and they will feel the life is okay. For example, the reason why I'm saying we should start from the kitchen. The kitchen is the parliament. Because you can find that the government can release a lot of funds to build facilities, education facilities, schools, and hospitals. But the normal youth, while they are jobless on the ground, they cannot manage to pay their school fees in these schools. But school infrastructure is there, is well equipped, hospitals are there, you can find even drugs there, doctors are there. But they cannot pay their bills. They cannot pay hospital bills. They cannot pay their kids' school fees.
Yes.
Because what normal wananchi needs is what they can afford, not the infrastructures, what they can afford. There's no need for us to pass the bill for building the infrastructures, but the citizen cannot afford to pay the school fees.
Yes.
We cannot just building the modern housing, but the youth around there cannot stay there safely.
That's it.
You cannot stay in a good house when your health is horrible, and the road you are using to go to in that modern housing is dusty. So the first thing what we should consider, when the government coming in place, they focus on changing the table, like bottom up. The bottom up was something touching the normal wananchi, which means everybody will be equal. The people who are in high, they will be somewhere with the poor. But if this government is not considering the poor people are the youths. The most employed people in the country is the youths. And these youths, how can we consider them? We must go and work in the kitchen, the food to be ready for the common wananchi. The common wananchi sana in this country is the youths. That's the reason I'm trying to convince the youths. For them to be on the table, they must have numbers. They must register as voters. They must be in the parliament. And the most bill they will pass in the parliament will be positive to change their life.
That's it.
Yes. And if we leave the old regime still there,
yes,
the youth will still be used like goons.
Yes.
So every campaign seasons,
yes,
they will be just used as goons and they will be dumped there.
That's it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, just 45 seconds before I cross over to Moses. I mean, what is your message right now when you are on the ground, when you're speaking to this youth? What is your direct message to them currently as Felix? What are you telling them? Something that is going to make them change their mind to either vote for you or register with the intention to vote for you, Felix?
For us to change our nations is about fearing the system.
Yeah.
We always fear that we vote or we don't vote, it will not change in the nation, or our voice will not be heard.
Yes.
So, but I want to convince them that it's high time we can change this system by register as voters, and we contest for various seats,
yes,
in parliament, in county level, even in higher level.
Yes.
So when we occupy these spaces, we'll be the boss. And now these regimes will pay them as goons so they can fight them, each other. So for us as youth, my request is we should now withdraw for fear. The solution is we must register.
Yes.
And you know, when we become majority, we can change everything, because there is we should not expect anything coming from the politicians, because the politics is about the personal interest.
That's it.
Their interest is to use us and abandon us. So for us to have a good health sectors, a conducive environment, security, and we check the government well, we must register as voters before 2027.
That's it.
Yes, because the scenario we have now is different with the 2024.
Pretty
2024,
much.
We experienced something called kidnapping, police brutality. You see, they use excess force. So that one make us fear. But we should not come out. Let us stop things from Andamano. So my call for youth,
yes,
let us use a vote as our weapon.
Pretty
to
much.
fight the government.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Moses, it's your turn now. Let's go back. The same question that I'm putting across to Felix. I mean, Moses, you've risen to be a student leader in a top public university in this country. Let's go back. You didn't talk to me about it. The voting system in the university, and we do know how charged your university elections are. The turnout, is it satisfactory? Would you say that the people turn out to vote in public universities mirror the voter apathy that we normally see by the youth in this country? Can you talk to me about your numbers vis-a-vis what you expected? How many votes did you get, first of all, Moses?
Yes, thank you so much. I think the first question, I'll start with the number of votes.
That's it?
Yes, I got 58.
58?
Votes out of 90.
Out of 90.
And it comes this way. You see, in 2015, the government changed the University Elections Act. so that we don't have, you see, election based on universal suffrage, where each and every student is expected to vote. But rather nowadays, we have a system whereby every department will produce 3 delegates. So students within the department will vote for the delegates. Now, when we have a total of all these delegates are being sent now to vote.
That's it.
So for my case, I was vying for a speaker position in a collection, we call it CASA, a group of 50 universities in the territorial borders of the Republic of Kenya. And due to God's will, I was elected to be the speaker. And what I'll say is that the culture we have as a country, or what we see as a problem in the national politics, rightly begins at the university level.
That's it.
Remember, the university level is the finishing school for latter-day politicians. Even what we have today in the National Agora, they were once university student leaders.
True.
But the moment the government changed the system in 2015, that is when now we introduced tribalism and corruption in university elections. You see, Simba, when we have a delegate system, for instance, JKUAT has 44,000. That is the largest university in the land in terms of population. So out of 44,000, when you want to tell us only 145 delegates are allowed to vote, it means you must use a lot of money for you to convince majority of them. And now we face the problem in that when you now want to face the ballot, like for my case, I had to move across all these 50 universities to campaign. You find a situation whereby you'll go somewhere and they'll tell you, we as the gamer. Now, you see, after the government abandoned the voting on the basis of universal suffrage, now ethnic balkanization started in the universities.
Yes.
Whereby we'll have a Luo community union in the university, they'll endorse one of their own, we'll have a Gema, we'll have the Abaluya society, and that's the problem. So it was so tiresome on my side because we'll go somewhere and they tell you, we also have a Gema candidate. So for you, if you're not one of us, then we are not lucky.
We're not going to give you the vote.
Yes, we're not going to give you the vote.
Yes.
So I think as the students, we must again chart our own way. And again, we must also obey the rule of law.
That's it.
By doing that. But I'll go back to something...
even before you go back to what Felix has said as well,
yes.
That was my next question then would be,
yes.
If you look at where we were in 2024, the Gen Z protest in the country. I mean, people said if you are to hold an election then, you will know exactly where we were supposed to vote to what. Like, you are not trying to second guess it. Moses, what has changed between 2024 and now that we do not know where these youth are? Because the numbers that we're getting from IEBC as the youth who are actually going to pick a vote to register are below par. It's not exactly what we expect the numbers to be, especially after heated session that we had in 2024. This voter apathy that we are experiencing as young people in this country, I'll give you the numbers. In 2022, there were 22.5 million Kenyans who were on the IEBC register. Now, let's see the guys who went to vote. 14.5 million Kenyans went out to vote. Now, out of these 22.5 million Kenyans who are registered, there were only 8 million young people below the age of 35 and below who actually were on the IEBC register. So if only out of this 14.5 million voted out of the 22.5 million, somebody told me yesterday, you know what, Simba, I cannot be wrong to deduce that probably only 2 million young Kenyans went out to vote in 2022. This voter apathy by the young people in this country, what do you think is making young people in this country, number one, not register, and number two, not vote? Is there any trend that you can pick from your university elections and say, this is why?
Yes. The reason as to why they're not registering, number one, the leaders we have currently, the promotion and the environment they gave young people has always been negative. I have a personal friend of mine. In fact, he told me he won't register and he won't vote in 2027. Then I had the intention of knowing more about it. And this guy told me, why should I go and vote knowing very well that after voting, the election shall be rigged? That is number one. There is a belief that no matter how you try and vote, There are bosses in the Security Council.
Yes.
There are those who believe that whether you vote or not, that they want to determine the fate of the country.
Yes.
Number two, young people, I'll also say some of them are a bit lazy. Very loud in the internet. Today, if you want to go to do anything, in fact, if you need young people to join you in TikTok Live to say how it's one term, they'll join in their millions. But when you tell them now go and register as voters so that in 2027 we achieve that one term, they won't do that. So our young people have lacked that advantage. They have lacked that driving force that can encourage them to go out and vote because they haven't seen any change.
Yes.
In 2022, the current president, Dr. William Ruto, was seen as a saint of the young people. He came out during his manifesto, during his campaign, and told us several things. Amongst them, it was job creation. Amongst them, it was, in fact, he even told us the Hustler Fund was supposed to be a grant, not a loan. So the young people are lacking that driving force to make them to vote. Having in mind, we have seen all leaders from all classes in various hierarchies.
Yes.
But the kind of result we get is disappointment. Number two, our young people are so loud. The technology superhighway has affected things to an extent. The young people will be loud in the internet, in social media platforms. They're ready to express their ultimate will towards various leaders.
That's it.
But now, ikifika kwa ground, they're nothing totally they're doing to ensure that. Back in our universities, majority of university students, to speak the truth, are not registered voters. Even those who are supposed to vote in 2022, majority of them were not registered voters, even at that time. When you ask them, when you have a chat with them, they'll tell you they've given up in this country. They're giving up because the same people who, in fact, promised them better life, today when they see, it is the direct opposite of what they were promised in 2022.
Yes.
So I think our leaders should change. And for young people, or generally for Kenyans to continue registering as voters and to vote, they must have a driving force. You even knew Simba. In 2027, you'll be heading to vote because you have a vision. But now, if you don't have a vision, or if you don't see anybody within the sphere who can take us to that Singapore, and I'm so happy when I see one of the legislators saying, the Singapore dream may end up in Timboroa, and it is true. So, when you know very well I'm going to vote, but the Singapore dream will maybe end up in Ongatarongai or even Githurai here, then you can't even go and vote. So there is something you said, why they're not registering as voters. They're lacking that driving force. Mm-hmm. They're lacking that vision. What are you going to vote for in the first place?
Yes.
If the leaders you have works on prebendalism in the sense that the CDF we have, even the bursaries, they're not giving, by the way, vulnerable pupils and students. The bursaries, they're giving their friends. You go there, you apply, you waste your time, at the end of the day, you won't get. You look at the president, the ministries, we are being led by not even technocrats, not professionals, politicians leading various ministries. And that is why you see some of them, a whole cabinet secretary joining a political rally and politicking around. And this is somebody you're looking forward to. So that through his support, through his efforts for us to achieve a better vision for the society. And again, there's something my brother said here. I think it will be so bad if I go away without responding to that.
Yes.
The problem in this country is not even young people conquering parliament. In fact, we can still have a better standard if old people will continue to be legislators in this country. The problem we have, even the members of parliament, the framers of the 2010 constitution works out clearly. The role of a member of parliament is not to construct hospital, not to build roads and whatever. Once you have been elected as a member of parliament, the first thing you are supposed to do, to read the constitution, to understand your role. The role of a member of parliament is to amend and to make laws.
That's it.
Now, where do we get the problem here? The problem with the majority of the members of parliament, when they are elected into the National Assembly or the Senate, they assume the role of their political formations. If you have been elected on an ODM ticket, you automatically assume the role of the opposition. You go to the parliament, and now you tell the nation, because I was elected on ODM ticket, the government is bad.
That's it.
Because I'm a member of UDA, the government is good. The problem is not all about their roles. The problem is, in the Constitution 2010, there is nowhere written that if UDA sponsored you to the parliament, then you belong to the government. You belong to the opposition. if you are a member of parliament on an ODM ticket. Members of parliament, irrespective of their political standing and formation,
yes,
they must acutely remember that once elected, your role is to make policies.
That's it.
In fact, even the government role is not to employ young people, but provide policies, the environment that is going to make job creation to thrive in this
Pretty
country.
much.
So those are some of the problems we are facing. If we can stand up and elect people, no matter their age, even if they are 100 years,
yes,
we are just good to go.
That's it.
But once they know the description of their role.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Good. All right. Now, let's then get into the gist of this conversation. Well, and Felix, I'm going to ask you this morning, you're going to run in 2027. And you can see the issues that even Moses is talking about here this morning. I mean, we are having youth who do not want to associate themselves with political parties in this country, who do not want to associate themselves with the leadership of this country. You have youth who don't want anything about leadership in this country. Are you going to run on a party, or you're going to go as an independent candidate? And what would inform your choice? I want to speak on this for 2 minutes. We're going to tiny breathe and then come back from this break. Yes.
Allow me to elucidate it in this way. It's not about party. It's reached a time where Kenyan now should check people individually.
Yes.
What you have done to Kenyans and what you can capable of doing.
That's it.
Yeah. We should not just elect people because about their parties or about tribal things.
Yes.
That's the reason why we end up having the bad leaders. Yeah, Kenya, we should wake up and we should open our eyes.
That's it.
Yeah, what matters is where we are going. Yeah, we cannot stay. You have like 5 years you want to waste. Then after that, we start making noise. So we should be very keen when we are electing a leader. People always sell their manifesto. Then people believe that when we elect this guy, mama mboga, mtu wa pikipiki, their life will change.
That's it.
But the end of it, we will not do that. And that one is a waste of 5 years. So I think we should be very keen before we elect a leader. We should know the background for each person. And we should see is it capable or just propaganda, or is it just a myopic man who is just trying to manipulate Kenyans to get votes. So we should be very keen. Party can affect an individual which have a responsibility, a responsible man, or somebody can be given a credit.
Yes.
Because of party. We should start seeing people by individuals.
That's it.
Yeah, we should not focus on parties. For me, yes, I'm a ODM member, but what I'm trying to tell young people, to give them some civil educations. They know reason why we should vote.
Yes.
They know reason why they should have their own representative. Before, in my constituency,
yes,
our representative, he came out when youths were killed. Me, I always leading my youth to Mandamano.
Yes.
Even my clips, people can see Msengeli calling me in his office. What happened? I used to lead my team. Because we know why we are going to the ground. We know why we are going there to fight for our fellow youth who are fallen, things like that. But you find somebody coming up and say, the photos you are seeing, these are not Kenyans. The people like Rex Masai, people died like Ojwang, they say those are photos. You find there's a leader who sent in the parliament to present his people, and he reject his people just to support the president. So we don't need a leader who go there to support the executive. They should do their mandate. If you are there to present your people, we should do that.
That's it.
So we should elect people who are ready to present youth things.
That's it.
Yeah. So that's the reason.
So in 2027,
yes,
are you going to go in on an ODM party ticket or as an independent candidate?
Still not decided, because I'm still consulting the ground. What people need is what I will follow.
That's it.
If people want me to go in independence or in which party, that's the direction I will follow. Because what I've realized, the people's power is very powerful. Ukicheck about the 2024 thing, it was people. people power can even break the gate for State House.
That's it.
So that's why I believe in we can change Dagoretti using people's will. I don't just come up with my manifesto or my party,
yes,
then convincing people to support me on that. I want to consult people thoroughly. So when I start working with them, I'm speaking their voice.
Pretty much. Just for gentlemen, I want us to go for a tiny breather, because once we come back then, we'll be looking at 2027. I mean, who's likely to win as a youth? I'll be painting for you a picture on exactly what's going on in ODM between Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino, who are youthful leaders across the country. What are they fighting for? Do you think that the youth can find voices in the young leaders in this country who've decided to take on the old generation, which is what Felix is going to do, because we do know that the Dagoretti South Member Parliament they're going to take on, isn't it? Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift, you can also be a part and parcel of this conversation on Look Up TV across all of them. My name is Elijah Charles Kiangi. See you on the other side of the break.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. Men look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
All right. Welcome back to The Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Let's then get into the last part of our conversation this morning. We are asking the question, which way for the youth in a 2027? That's the question. Still, this morning with Felix and Moses. Felix is running for Member of Parliament in a 2027 Dagoretti South. Good, Moses. Let's then get into the last part of our conversation this morning. I mean, it looks as if the youth haven't made a decision to change the leadership of this country. But we do know very well that the numbers are within the youth. 75% of the population of Kenya is made up of the young people of this nation. But then in one way or another, when it comes to making a decision, they are lacking where it matters most. Now, let's see exactly what is happening in one of the oldest political parties in the country, the ODM, that's the Orange Democratic Movement. We've seen what Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino are doing across the country. They're taking on what is so-called the old generation leadership, and they're calling on the young people to come in and hold their hands as they move towards 2027. Do you think that this movement that we're seeing from the likes of Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino can coerce a couple of youth to come on board to register and vote in a 2027?
Yes, I'll say number one, ODM. For the last 3 elections, yes, that is 22, 2017, and 2013, ODM doesn't represent anything transformational in the society. And I cannot say I'm so embarrassed, but I've been so disheartened to learn that my brother is a member of ODM. Because ODM doesn't represent anything transformational, and this is the reason.
That's it.
When I see young Turks such as Babu Owino and Sifuna doing something good on the ground with the blessing of senior veteran, senior counsel James Orengo,
yes,
I'm so happy as a young person. And I'm so proud of that team. The time has come when we must have a paradigm shift from the old generation leadership to the young generation. You see, every generation has what it stands for. The generation of Jomo Kenyatta, Mboya, Oginga, they were fighting for liberation of Africans.
Yes.
And of course they achieved. The generation of Raila, Martha Karua, at that time, they were fighting for a second liberation, multi-party democracy. This generation is fighting for economic independence. Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana said it clearly, that seek first the political independence and the rest shall be given unto you. There is a sense in which we were issued with the political independence, but there is no economic independence.
Yes.
Babu Owino and Sifuna, the two legislators, will go down in history as the only two legislators who came out to join young people on 25th June 2024. When Kenya police was killing people in Nairobi, you saw Babu crossing even the gate of parliament and joining the young people. You saw Sifuna controlling police officers and asking them, why are you killing young people? Today, when I see the government hunting them down like animals because they're speaking on behalf of Kenyans, it is so embarrassing.
Yes.
Sifuna and Babu needs to take over the leadership of ODM. When ODM was formed by Raila and other veterans,
yes,
it was not a family property.
True.
Whereby it is a succession politics. It is not a pool whereby it was meant for the old generation. In fact, it was fighting for Katiba. I remember it was 2005 when they were saying, for us it's orange, the other side it was banana. The orange one. At the end of the day, it gave birth to 2010 Constitution. In 2010 Constitution, in a democracy, we have only two powerful tools, the people and the vote. It is because of the vote that a black man once led the United States of America.
That's it.
And it's because of the people who are tired of imperial wars that there was a time in Africa we had a country where education was free, access to medical services was free, and that was Libya under Gaddafi. The same to our country. We must show the political class that is the people and the vote. It is the people's power.
That's it.
Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino are the Jews inside the orange. You squeeze out the Jews,
yes,
you remain with something we don't know the name,
yes,
but it's not now the orange we know.
Are they making a mistake, between Sifuna and Babu Owino? Because we haven't had them call on the young people to go register to vote. Because whether you like it or not, Moses, it's still going to go back to the IEBC register that still says 14 million of those who are registered are not youth in this country. So the message for Babu Owino and Edwin Sifuna might not just resonate with the older generation in this country. Are they making a mistake? Because all we're hearing them say is that the party is not led properly, as opposed to saying, young people, before you come to our rally, please come with your voters register. Are we losing it out? Just a minute before we cross over to Felix.
Yes, I think the first thing they're doing is to solidify their ground and to solidify their base, having in mind that we have a leadership crisis in ODM, yes, as a party.
Yes.
I talk about leadership crisis because when Oburu Oginga was given that leadership after the death, yes, of Right Honorable Raila Odinga, others were saying it was an overnight, others were saying it was an instruction for President Ruto, So I'll say they're making a mistake, though not a treasonous mistake. The young people must remember it is their democratic right. It is within the framework of the Constitution that you have a right to vote. The only thing you need for you to vote as a voter is to have a voter's card to register as a voter in this country. So I'll say the best they can do for now is to encourage the young people.
Yes.
But it lies within the rights and will of the young people to register as voters.
That's it.
Every individual who is 18 years and above, even children in this country, they're aware. Currently, IEBC is registering voters.
That's it.
And I think this is not even a work of a political class to come and tell you go and register. It is within your will. So I just encourage Babu Owino,
yes,
and Sifuna,
yes,
to provide an alternative role of leadership in the society. Let them come and tell the young people, for the first time in history, go vote, go and register, then come 2027, vote, and we promise you a better future.
That's it.
That's the only way they can do. But if the young people will desist and resist from registering as voters, there is nothing they can do but just to encourage the already registered voters to go and cast the election towards that direction so that we can be the change that we want to see in the society.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Alex.
Allow me to inject something there.
Yes.
Before we jump in that point.
Yes.
You know, we might find that government is not having interest for you to register as voters. Because you can see governments moving all over, campaigning, using a huge amount of money to doing some events, launching so many projects.
That's it.
But they never take it serious.
That's it.
And it's a red flag to youths because there's no any effort Kenyan government is doing to make Kenyans to trust Kenya IBC. There's no any effort that department also to convince the Kenyans to have trust on them. You know, is a very sensitive part of it that Kenyans don't trust that body. And it's the responsibility for the government and IBC to make Kenyans to trust them. You know, that's the reason why even many youths don't want to register because they think it is useless. They register or they don't register. Ruto will still make his way back to the office. So other Kenyans, maybe in the grassroots elections, they believe still a system can make a decision who will be there and who will not be there. So it's the responsibility for Kenyans to come out and spend and locate resources, how they can make that trust to Kenyans.
That's it.
They should do like mobilize. Why like they are charging people for polio vaccination.
Yes.
You find they make noise, even people were employed everywhere. They go even door to door. But why this voter registration, they cannot take it serious? What about censor? They do it door to door. Why the IBC cannot even given some finance to facilitate this body?
Registration, yes.
Yeah. Why? I think government don't have interest for Kenyans to register as voters.
Yes.
If they take it seriously, there's other ways they can do it to make Kenyans to trust this body and go in a large number to register.
That's it.
When you find there's a grant for Nyota, they spend a lot of money to convincing youths to register. Even when they are going to just to give them that money out, you see how president uses a lot of money, a lot of security, a lot of vehicles moving everywhere in the country. They're just going to give out 22,000. It's very shameful. It's the same way politicians, they don't have interest for the normal wananchi.
That's it.
Like you find somebody is going to giving a bursary in Dagoretti South, 3 million, and is spending 5 million just for red carpet and tent, just to give out 3 million. That's the reason I'm telling the Kenyans youths, government don't have interest about this matter. So we should just come with our decisions. Let us come out and make a decision on our own.
Yes.
The way we make a decision on our own.
Yes.
When we tell the members of parliament, please don't pass that bill, they go ahead and pass it. We should make that call again. We come out and make a decision to change our nation. And one thing I used to tell many youths, many countries in Africa, they have hope in Kenya. They are benchmarking Kenya right now. Because the step we have made as a nation, we should not take the country back. We are somewhere worldwide.
Yes.
Kenyans don't keep quiet. Kenyans know their rights. And I pray, God willing, when I will be in the parliament, we'll try the Kenyan constitutions to be implemented, is be part of the subject in our education system.
Yes.
So Kenyans should know their rights. Kenyans are being tortured and Kenyans are being looted even when they go to write even OB in police station. They pay money because they don't know their rights. We should give Kenyans information. That's what's lacking in the Kenya.
Yes.
So they know what's the right, what's not right.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, when they're being given a handout, they should know this is their free money, they should get it free without just getting handouts to vote for someone.
That's it.
Yeah.
So just take a minute to respond to this one before I cross over to Moses. You know, you're going to fight against the old generation in your constituency come 2027. Who are you counting on, Felix? Are you counting on the young people within that constituency? Or are you counting on the older people within that constituency? And if you are, what are you doing different from what the older generation, by the way, who are moneyed, who've got that influence, are doing within that constituency that's going to make you stand out?
Yes. Me personally, I'm malleable, I'm not rigid. I go across.
Yes.
I don't believe all in my fellow youths.
Why not, Felix?
Why
not?
Last time, December,
yes.
I call a youth forum somewhere in Kwamaji. It's a stage called Kwamaji. That's where I grew up. I call like 40 youths. When I ask them, how many youths have the voter cards? Only 11 out of 40. And I always buy them tea when we mingle, when we meet somewhere.
That's it.
Then on December, when I call single mothers, by 24th, I was giving them some Christmas. There's no any single mother who was not registered as a voters. I find mothers, they're responsible. And maybe it's not about hospital issues, make them to have ID, but youth are lagging behind. So my highs and hopes is in youth and wamama.
Is that where the rain starts beating us, Felix, especially in your constituency? That national outlook of youth who don't register to vote in this country is also right there within your constituency, where out of 40, only 11 have voters' cards. Is that what it is?
Where I'm coming from.
Yes.
Is behind. More so youths. They are waiting somebody to come in and giving handout for them to go and register as voters.
That's it.
That's the problem we have. But I've been trying to convince them. It's their mandate.
Does that put you at a disadvantage, Felix? Because here it is. You're going to face the older generation in the 2027 general elections. You can speak the language for the young people who are the majority within your constituency to support you in 2027. Do you look at that and then you sit back and say, this is going to be a tough battle because I'm going for the same votes that the older generation in my constituency are going for, Felix?
I'm really working on it.
Yes.
Yes, it's a challenge to me where I am, and I feel sad when I think over it.
Yes.
But there's a way I'm looking. I'm looking for a solution. I want to do something called door-to-door.
That's it.
Door-to-door. Even if it's a matter of financing the IBC, I will try. I must make sure that youth take register. They must take a voting card. Then another thing is the message I'm passing across. Even the whole generation, they should believe in me. And they say I'm the suitable guy for this because these people, they cannot change. They don't have wisdom to change the area. They have been there. Like somebody have worked like 3 terms, but there's no any change I've done in that area.
That's it.
So that's the reason I'm saying, if I sell myself well, the people will believe in me. They say, even this young boy, can we give him a chance to do it?
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's what I believe in. I believe in God and I believe in the message I'm sending to them.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Felix, I'll be coming to you, and I hope once you decide whether you're going to run as independent or through ODM, you'll still come back here and then we talk about it so that we know exactly where you made that decision, isn't it?
Yes.
Pretty much. Now, Moses, coming back to you, man. Tribeless, leaderless. We don't associate with the slogans that everybody's talking about. The Sisi Wote and Sifuna, we don't want them. The likes of Makure stood up. We shunned them away. The likes of Morara Kebaso stood up. We told them, who told you that you are a leader? So when you look at 2027, on that basis, somebody told me that if you try to hold an election online today, you go online and then say, all the youth of this country do not go to your polling stations. We've created a poll for you online. You're going to vote online. Somebody told me, do you know they're going to find that 90% of the youth who are eligible to vote in this country are going to vote? And then somebody said that voting in this country is not trendy. It's not something cool. It's not. It's not something cool. Number two, that it's traditional. Even as we are voting, even as we are bragging of being among the few countries in East and Central Africa that have got the digital voting system, still you got to go line up and vote. Get the paint on your finger and go back home. So the thing is, it's not trendy. It's not something that youth excites youth to go and do it. Is that what it is? That if you find a more comfortable way of voting, a more comfortable way of registering, some of them do not even know where the chief's office is.
Yes, you see, I'll disagree with online voting.
Oh, by the way, take 2 minutes.
Yes, this is one of the topics which has been discussed severally.
Yes.
And our leaders are ethically contaminated so much. If you want to see the greatest tragedy that can strike this country, try online voting. Very many people will vote, but the rate at which it shall be rigged will be worse. You see, when you see people around saying, oh, secret code in online voting, if there were situations whereby other politicians were saying, even the dead, remember it's a physical election, and there were some claims, just claims, that there are some people who died 2 years ago, but they voted. So think of a situation, we are going by the online voting.
That's it.
I think the solution we need is just to be devoted citizens. Devoted in the sense, you must remember you have a right. You must remember you have a responsibility to achieve in the society.
That's it.
As a devoted Kenyan citizen, it is your right to choose that leader. If you believe the leaders you see around are not good people, you stand up as a candidate. Stand, campaign, face the ballot. But a situation whereby we are going so lazy, you see, I think some of the things are so much overrated in this country. Kenya is not ripe, and the fact is Kenya is still not ripe for some of the digital pathways we are trying to force ourselves into. And one of them being online voting.
That's it.
Even during COVID-19, you saw some of them saying, we can now integrate our system so that we can have our students and pupils learn online. Kenya is not prepared for such issues. The first thing we're supposed to do, just register as a voter, go and vote, to prevent a runners tragedy which can strike this country.
That's it.
And let me respond to my brother, Felix.
That's it, in 45 seconds.
Yes, who said the government is doing a little to fund the IEBC. The failure lies within the frameworks of the 2010 Constitution. In the Constitution 2010, we have provisions for independent offices, IEBC being one of them. The problem is not the government. The problem in this case is the Constitution. The Constitution provided for independent offices, but with a direct financing from the executive arm of the government with approval of the legislature.
That's it.
We are supposed to have a special kitty to cater for independent offices. That is why today when you see the Teacher Service Commission, you saw the other day MPs hawking TSC letters. Very embarrassing. Yeah. The IEBC. The 2010 Constitution, if it must be amended the way the likes of Musalia Mudavadi said the other day, then it should be amended so that we have a special kitty for independent offices. But we must never change the Constitution to continue providing more power and responsibilities to the political class by extending the executive so that politicians can have their way as the masses of the people continues to suffer. So that is the problem with the IEBC. The government has not failed to conduct civic education. That's a primary role of the IEBC.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much. Whew, gentlemen, I wish we would have continued because a couple of issues have been all touched on this morning, but I promise to call you back. Felix, when you make that decision on whatever party that you're going to run on, I hope you come back here, man, that we got to talk about it. So I can see even your manifesto. That's it?
Because the way
yes.
The current's moving.
That's it?
Yeah.
I'll call you back again. All right, Moses, thank you very much for creating time this morning, man. You've been quite invaluable this morning. Take this gentleman back online to the time that he joined us this morning and look up TV across all your social media platforms. The hashtag, as always, is The Morning Drift. Our WhatsApp lines are always right there on your screen. Want to say something about what they've said this morning? Talk to us. We shall talk back to you as well. I'll see you tomorrow for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye.